All in Sports Network. We love sports.
It is Monday, April 21st, and this is your daily fix for all things Texas Longhorns right here on All in Horns. I'm Tanner Carlson. That is Jake Jimerson, and this is brought to you by Rogue Sports Network. Jake, happy belated Easter. I hope you had some good times with your family. Texas baseball comes away with a clean sweep. Softball wins their series over LSU in what Jake and I deemed a must-win series, and so took care of business there. Did drop a game there in the middle, but took care of business for the most part. Now, Jake, how'd the weekend go?
Good. Had the mom in town. Weather kind of sucked, which was unfortunate, but was able to cook for her. Got a big new cast iron pan in that I was excited about. You know, old people stuff that gets me excited.
Absolutely.
So, it was good spending time with family, and Easter was good. No screaming kiddos for me like you, but still got some good family time.
What's your biggest like old man take now that you're, a mature adult
compared to like 10 years ago?
Yeah, like what
so much.
So for me, my biggest take is like there's not a better feeling than whenever your garbage can is overloading and trash days the next day. That excitement that you have in the morning of having an empty dumpster to then fit in the rest of your trash is a euphoria unlike something I never thought I'd be able to experience before. But yeah, it's those types of things that make me realize, wow, you are just getting old. And now I'm like super picky about my yard and like the girls pulling up grass and stuff. I'm like, hey, I'm literally the get off my lawn guy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say barbecuing because I don't think that's like an old person thing. I think that's just a dude thing. You like to cook, grill with fire. Fire fun. Probably the oldest thing is, man, my obsession with golf is just at a point that I never thought it would be. I knew I'd probably play golf eventually because you just get to a point where, you can't go just play football when you're 30 and you're not, a professional athlete. You're not just going to show up to a park and play tackle football unless you want to go to the doctor.
Yeah. The only other sport you can kind of do that is basketball at the YMCA and go pick up a pickup game or something like that.
Yeah, and even then, you're probably going to get hurt. Golf, less of a chance to get hurt. Still might get hurt, but less of a chance. But my thing is just the amount of golf I'm watching. It's a lot.
It's almost every week, and it's like and it's not just Sundays. That's where I kind of get a little embarrassed. Is I'm over here watching the RBC Heritage Tournament on Thursday and Friday, and I'm just having it on in the background at work. It's just playing.
I was watching the alternate, the PGA, they'll have one event where it's invite and then they'll have the alternate. It's some long name. Yeah. I was watching it because Joel Damon was sitting on top of the standings. I just wanted to see how he was doing because I like Joel Damon from interviews on podcast I like and from obviously from Full Swing. And so, I mean, I was watching the alternate. I've even watched some live. I got to watch, the Bryson DeChambeaus, the Brooks Koepkas, the guys that I don't get to see on the PGA Tour now. I don't watch that as much, but still, if it's on and I'm not sure what to watch, I'll throw it on the TV. So it's gotten out of hand. I watch too much golf.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. Anyway, Jake, it was a fun weekend, good weekend. I guess my only thing that kind of happened that I was a little bit of a damper was that Friday I got pulled over and for a speeding ticket, and so that's going to cost me. I was caught going like 24 over the speed limit, something along those lines. Not to give you an exact number or anything, that was give or take. But
has Kirby Smart reached out to you yet? A scholarship offer.
I'm expecting a full ride scholarship to Georgia.
Well, no, you got to be going like 40 over to get a full ride, but you might get a partial.
I might get an invite to be a walk-on for the Georgia Bulldogs. And so, I was going and dropping off one of the girls to her dad's for the weekend. And I was going through McGregor, and apparently McGregor's gone through this whole construction thing. The sign I read said 75. I said, okay, cool. Going like 80, kind of flirting with a little over 80. That's perfectly fine. Kind of get into town. It immediately drops to like 60. So I'm kind of slowing down and hitting on my brakes. I look in the rearview mirror. There's the lights going off. I'm like, and I'm on the phone with Kay. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay, I think I'm getting pulled over. Let me stop. Yeah, the cop was saying that the whole entire like section that I was driving through is 60 miles an hour, not 75. And he was like, yeah, I might say it on your GPS. And then on my way back, it was 60 within that section, but there was a 75-mile-an-hour speed limit sign. I just had missed the first 61 that said, slowly roll. So I can't fight it. I am guilty. Hand up on that one. But yeah, it's not like I was just driving recklessly. I just wasn't paying attention to the speed limit sign.
Which is funny when I just got a warning a couple weeks ago when we went on our vacation, and you were like, slow down, dude. And I just had not quite slowed down before the construction zone started. And the cop pulled me over, but he let me go with a warning. I guess you just don't have that charm that I do.
Yeah, that's what it is. The fact that you were in a construction zone and
15 over was what he clocked me at, though. That was whether or not I was going 15 over when I actually entered the construction zone was debatable. Maybe that's why he let me off, because he clocked me before and I wasn't really in the construction zone yet. But I was definitely going around probably 8 to 10 over when I got in the construction zone.
So I have a question. You're more of an adult than I am. Now, if the ticket says that I have blonde hair, is that, terms on which I can fight and say, well, the ticket doesn't really match my...
I think the officer just thought you act like a blonde.
I can't get out of the ticket, though, if it says that I have blonde hair and
I think you'll have a hard time getting out of that ticket with that.
All right. I just wanted to make sure I didn't find a loophole or something like that. I had to try. All right, Jake, let's go ahead and get into the things. Baseball. Clean sweep over Auburn. I predicted a clean sweep. Jake, you predicted Texas to win that series 2-1. Texas has now advanced to 8-1 versus top 10 opponents in baseball this season following their sweep. And man, what a series it was. We had some big names pop up. Jonah Williams had a huge series, got the start in game 2. Brought in, I think he had 3 RBIs in that second game, got the nod to start in the third game on Saturday. Also had a pretty good game on Saturday as well. And Coach Schloss said he has no reason to take him out of the starting lineup. And looks like Jonah Williams might have a spot on the #1 baseball team in the country. Jake, let's talk a little bit about Jonah Williams. For those who don't know, he is a 5-star freshman football recruit for Steve Sarkisian, and Schloss also brought him in. They kind of did a little bit of a tag team work, knowing that he was going to be a multi-sport athlete, and got him in. He's starting on the baseball team now. #1 team, seems to be playing a pretty important role. He plays out in the outfield. And here's my take on Jonah Williams. If you love playing baseball, play baseball. Absolutely all for it. Not against you not being at spring camp or anything like that, and being with the football team and trying to get your bearings straight with the playbook on the football side of things. Perfectly fine with it. I think he's a good enough player, good enough athlete. He can kind of catch up, get up to speed on things. Is there something to be said, though, of what if he really finds his niche in baseball and not maybe doesn't always pan out, maybe on the football field? Like, is there a concern to you that he's going to lean more towards baseball or lean towards football towards the end of his career and hurt one program over the other?
No, I think he's a special, just freak of nature talent.
Yeah.
I think he'll be on the football field this year.
It looks like he loves playing baseball, though. Like you can
he
see
he loves playing both. I mean, that's why he went to college. He wanted to play both. Texas pitched him on playing both. I mean, if he just can't crack it in one of the sports, then yeah, maybe he goes just to one sport. But I'd be surprised at that, because I mean, he was one of the highest recruits in this class. That was the #1, class in the nation.
Yeah.
He's a 5-star, like top 10 recruit in the nation type player.
Yeah.
I think he is going to be Texas's little version of Bo Jackson. I mean, he's just going to be that special player that only comes around every so often, once a generation sometimes, especially for just a singular school. And I think he's going to be making plays on the diamond and on the football field for probably only about 3 years. I mean, I will say he's going to have to pick one to go pro in. I don't think today's world allows you to play both sports and professionally.
We've tried seeing it with a few now that was quarterback, but I just don't know, whether that be Jameis Winston, whether that be Russell Wilson, whether that be Kyler Murray. I don't really know if there's again, all quarterbacks, so it's a little bit different of a story when it comes to the quarterback position in football. But yeah, I think teams are much less lenient on the Deion Sanders, Bo Jackson, go ahead and play both sort of thing at the professional level.
Yeah, he got asked what he prefers, and his answer was, "I came here to play both." So, and Schlossnagle and Steve Sarkisian working with him to both bring him in tells you everything you need to know. And even though he's not able to practice with football in spring, sometimes when you're enough of a freak of a player, of an athlete, of a talent, that doesn't matter so much.
Yeah. And look, I don't want to, I'm a fan of both these programs. So it's not like, go play football because I like the football program more than I like the baseball program or something. I can see how fans can kind of get in their heads a little bit about, well, I want you to be a good football player and you're too focused on baseball. Well, he has a chance to be an all-star in the MLB. Like, the dude is a freak athlete and is already looking at being drafted at the baseball level. So, you just kind of have to take one with the other, but showed great promise in this series, had some huge at-bats in that game too, that elevated Texas over Auburn, helped them get the sweep. And the only other thing, Jake, some injury news came out of this Auburn series. Jared Spencer, he played a couple of innings and then came out pretty quickly. He seems to be questionable. Obviously won't be playing against Texas State come Tuesday, but might be questionable for that Texas A&M series coming up this upcoming weekend. And then Mendoza, he is hopeful for the A&M series, flirted with him coming back in the Auburn series, but I think they want to make sure he's 100% ready to go.
Yeah, and they're going to need him for this A&M series that I think we all are wishing would have happened 4 or 5 weeks ago, where Texas would have been heavily favored to sweep, whereas now A&M comes in as one of the hottest teams in the country. Probably going to be ranked. We'll see where the rankings fall. More than likely going to be ranked in the top 25, though, with the run they've made.
Did a little bit of a bracketology, kind of projected standings of what the round of 64 looks like. They are currently last 4 in. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season and then into the conference tournament, they're out of that last 4 in and they're just in indefinitely.
Yeah, agreed. But yeah, Jared Spencer, I mean, that game for me was the game where you're like, okay, this might be the one Texas drops. When Spencer leaves the game, you're gonna have to get deep in the bullpen. How's that going to work out? And this team just continues to find ways to win. And it's very impressive to watch. And I had a lot of fun listening to Mike Harge on the call, by the way.
Yeah, shout out Harge.
Two-time guest of All In Horns. But a lot of fun watching them, and hopefully Jared Spencer is good because he is really important. You feel like the starters have become solidified, and so you really hope to keep that rotation solidified because it's working so well.
Having depth is a double-edged sword, in my opinion. Like, yes, you have the depth and you use it whenever you need it, but you don't want to go too deep into it to where you're, just injury plagued and you don't have your starters in anymore. And now you're using that depth as starting roles. And then you take away the advantage of having depth. And so, it's kind of one of those things of like, yeah, depth is great whenever everybody's healthy. Then you have to dive into the depth, which is why you have the depth. But now you don't have any more depth because you're using that depth. So let's just hope this isn't a snowball effect in terms of injuries that Texas is already kind of overcoming and trying to get back on the healthy side of things. This series kind of went the exact opposite of what I thought. Now, I did predict the sweep, but game 1 went exactly as I thought. Low scoring, great pitching. Bats were struggling to find anything. However, games 2 and 3, especially game 3, Texas didn't struggle whatsoever to get in scoring position and put runs on the board.
Yeah, game 2 was competitive for a while, and then Texas kind of pulled away. But game 3 was a beating.
from the opening pitch. I mean, it was all Texas all the way.
And I mean, just a very dominant series win. And Texas moves to 8-1 against LSU, Georgia, and Auburn. Did get all those series at home, as Billy Liucci wants us all to know from Texags, talking about the SEC doing Texas favors because they get all the easy teams on the road like Kentucky who can't beat anyone. They won at Tennessee this weekend. Yeah, that's right. It's almost like the SEC is a grind except for Texas in every sport.
Every sport. Yep. Yeah. It's just funny.
Yeah, except for Texas, who when they're doing well, it's not a grind for their specific schedule's not a grind, but everyone else's is.
Everyone else in the conference has a very difficult schedule, with the exception of Texas. Only when Texas is succeeding in that sport.
Yes, precisely. That's exactly right. And we have talked about how Texas, has been fortunate to get a lot of those top 10 teams at home this year.
Yeah.
Still have, a trip to Arkansas coming up, a trip to Oklahoma coming up. So they still have some tough ones to come, but I don't think beating a Georgia or LSU and also sweeping 2 out of those 3. I don't think them going on the road means they're going to get swept in those. They've proven they can win on the road.
Yeah.
They rolled Ole Miss on a neutral field in a park they historically before Schlossnagle had not done well in. It's almost like this team just finds ways to win regardless of location, regardless of opponent. They just find ways. Not saying they're going to go undefeated in SEC and not drop a single series, but they have continued to show that they find ways to win.
Absolutely. All right, Jake. Let's flip it over to softball real quick, and then we can wrap up the show and be done with it. Wins the series over LSU 2-1. Game 1 was a 7-3 victory. Lost game 2 1-6, but came back, won a close one game 3 on Saturday afternoon 6-5. I didn't get to watch as much of this series as I wanted to. I did was keeping an eye on it and flipping it back and forth from time to time, but definitely a good series for Texas to win. We deemed it a must-win series. They did exactly that. They got the job done. And now they only have to go turn around, take on Oklahoma State on Wednesday, and then have number 2 Oklahoma, probably number 1 Oklahoma, maybe by that time coming up, and in Norman, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, in Norman, which was why this series was a must-win.
Yeah.
And a series that I don't know if it made me more confident in. Again, when talking about softball, we're talking about confidence is all about, can they win the national title this year? And I don't know if my confidence has grown, because that 7-3 is misleading in a way. That was a walk-off grand slam that won the game.
Yeah.
First walk-off grand slam in Texas softball history, by the way. Pretty cool, and it was very exciting. And it's a top 10 series win at home. This is pairs now with that Florida win. Yep. The Florida win at home, which was also huge. It's just the consistency of the bats and finding ways to score. They had another one run game that they lost in this series. That is 3 out of their last 6 games. They have lost a game scoring 1 run.
Yeah. And like you said, I don't know if that makes us feel any more confident about the bats moving forward whenever you're going up against, when you advance to the super regionals or you advance to the College World Series and you're starting to play these top 10 teams in do or die situations and series in terms of your pursuit to a national championship, and I think that's where you and I come in, where when we say it's a little bit disappointing, no, the series win against LSU is not disappointing by any stretch of the imagination. However, you look at the box score, you look at the stats, you look where Texas is in terms of scoring, and we would like that number to probably be up a little bit more than what it was. But again, LSU, a very talented team. They're very good. They've lost a lot of close games, especially late in games, and that seemed to be their little bit of a bugaboo in this series against Texas.
Yeah, LSU, very good team, but also a team that was just coming off of getting waxed by A&M in a sweep.
Yeah.
Where A&M was putting up big run totals on them, and in 2 of the 3 games they scored 4 in one of them. and then they scored 9 and I believe 12 in the other. So still a big series win for softball. I know when I'm talking about it, it's like, how do you be so negative? They just beat a top 10 team. That's
It's
what
not so much negative.
It's not negative. My expectations for this team this year were to win a national championship. I mean,
Well,
that
it's
is that.
also it is a concern moving forward when you're playing elite programs in terms of winning a national championship. You can't go out there and put up two runs and expect to beat these teams. You just can't. And Texas has done it more often than not in their losses of only scoring 1 or 2 runs.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the Florida series continue, and even in the Florida series, they had a game they lost with 1 run.
Yeah.
But they did score 13 and 7 in those other games. But they kind of dropped games consistently to the ranked teams of the SEC, which that's fine. But again, we're talking about winning a College World Series, and you just got to talk about what you're seeing and where the concerns lie. Kind of like we did with the women's basketball team. Talking about the offense being a concern, not being able to be a top 4, top 8 team in the country at the end of it, but being able to end number 1. Texas has been number 1 in 9 sports this year.
9.
They haven't ended number 1 in enough. That's kind of the next step, especially for these major sports, the softball, the baseball, men's basketball, women's basketball, football. They've all been contenders now for at least a couple years, if not more, but just not able to end number 1.
Yeah. Speaking of on that, SEC champions, the Texas men's tennis team, SEC champions. They were announced last night as the conference champs. And so add another SEC trophy to the trophy room in Austin. I'm pretty sure that already surpasses the total that Texas A&M has over there in Aggie land. So, but Jake, anything else that you'd like to add to this episode before we sign off?
Huge weekend coming up for Texas and softball.
Well, and baseball.
Or I said Texas and softball. I meant Texas baseball and softball. Brain not working fully. But yeah, no, for both. I mean, you got A&M coming into Austin, and you got the ladies traveling to Norman. Your top rivals on the block this weekend, and both teams are very good. OU softball, I mean, they've won 4 titles in a row, and they look to very much be a team that's going to contend for one again this year. Though maybe not as good as their last 4 teams. That's saying that while they're still number 2, number 3 team in the nation. And then you have A&M baseball, who started number 1, became a laughingstock, and now all of a sudden has gone from RPI 114. We'll do this on our preview, but still, I think they were RPI 114 3 weeks ago. Now they're in the top 30 of RPI. And playing like a team that was preseason number 1. So two very big series coming up. Very excited to watch as many of these games as I can.
Yeah, and softball, your top 3 teams within the SEC is A&M, Texas, Oklahoma. Your top 3 triangle of rivalries right there sitting at the top. So a huge series coming up, not only for softball, but also baseball. And so all eyes will be glued to the television this weekend. Really looking forward to it. I'm going to try to find myself some baseball tickets this week. I'm going to see what I can manage. They're super affordable. They're not that hard to find. It's just a matter of if I wait too late, I won't be able to find them. So,
I might be going to the OU series in Norman through a family friend who actually played baseball at OU.
That'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm assuming I know exactly who you're talking about too. All right, cool. Well, Jake, that's going to do it for today's episode. Tomorrow's episode, if you want transfer portal updates, go ahead, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Get alerts because tomorrow at noon, we're going to be giving spring portal updates for what is currently ranked the number 22 class in the transfer portal for the Texas Longhorns. We'll go through some of the names that signed over the weekend that we didn't touch on when we signed off last Friday. But we do release these episodes Monday through Friday at noon. So please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and get your daily fix for all things Texas Longhorns right here on All in Horns. For Jake Jimerson, I'm Tanner Carlson. As always, ladies and gentlemen, hook 'em.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.